Hey Heroes, Kolz here. Today I'm going to be going over release 3.2.0 for Heroes vs. Hordes. And we got drama. Whoa boy. I've been recording a video all morning. I hadn't even turned on the internet until after lunchtime. And I open up my guild chat and people are freaking out. Whoa boy. Turns out there's some pretty big changes coming in 3.20. And we're going to go through them now. The Warlord balancing is the big issue here. So Warlord is known as the current best hero in the game, or at least top two. I think him and Clockwork Mage. Clockwork Mage better early, Warlord's better late, give or take. Okay, so the way his kit works is there's three big components to it. The first is that his 2-star Forge heals him. So previously it was 5% of his health. Every time that his wide swing occurred, he healed for 5% of his max HP. And then his wide swing, which is a skill, didn't have a regular cooldown. But if you got hit by an enemy, reduce the cooldown by 1.5 seconds, eventually 50%. And so what would happen is, in Nightmare mode or in any mode where you got hit, it would dramatically reduce the cooldown of Wide Swing, which would then start healing you via the 2-star Forge. Now, that made him really beefy and tanky, and then he gets super strong when he gets to 3 stars as a hero. So if you get 3-star Warlord, then he gets incredibly damagey from all of his skills. So his skills, because he's a newer hero, kind of grow exponentially, and that same cooldown on his skill that affected his healing also affects his damage. And so he becomes like a wide swinging nightmare. He just does a butt ton of damage because of exponential growth in his power, the reduced cooldown, and the healing. So that is a great concept for a hero. They should do more of that, where there's hero or healing is built into the kit and it buffs the hero, and it all works together so that if you invest at least 2,000 super tokens and get him to at least 3-star, he's gonna be a beast. At that point you can start clearing all the content in the game. So the issue is they just had him as the primary or the main hero of the last 2 events, which means that people just spent a butt ton of money acquiring him. I got super lucky over the weekend and just got him for free via the spins, but a lot of people didn't. And people were rolling hundreds of times in the event to try and get him, or spending $100 just to get him outright, which is a lot of money. That's $100 is basically 6 months of my video game budget. So that's a lot for most average humans. To have him be the hero you're buying 2 weeks in a row and then immediately nerf him feels awful. And is so dumb from a marketing perspective. I mean, this team obviously doesn't have anybody in marketing. They don't have a website. They don't have guides to anything. They barely have a Facebook page. All they have is a community moderated Discord. And yet the player base has been growing. So that means the game is really good, but nobody there is paying any attention to marketing or PR. And I've been a product manager before. I did it at a big real estate company. You have to think of end users when you do stuff like this. They're gonna be pissed. You can't just make them spend money and then immediately reduce the quality of the product that they just spent the money on. I get it, he is probably too strong, and from a balancing perspective, that can mess with the game, but this is a single player pay-to-win game. It's not TFT, it's not League of Legends where balance issues can mess up the whole meta of the game. Sure, this guy is too strong, but the only way it really impacts anybody is on leaderboards. And so what you need to do is, if you want to nerf the guy, do it slowly, right? There is no harm to anybody in this game, except for maybe, the 500 people that are better than me at it, or at least higher in the ranks. I don't know if they're better than me, that have Warlord and need to compete at the uppermost level. And so the optics of it are just so dumb. I agree with your philosophy here, right? Let's reduce his healing so that you can't just idly farm 280 Nightmare mode, which a bunch of people in my guild were cheering about and saying, I can finally get to 1,000 talents because I can just put Warlord on 280 and walk away from the game. And that's not what they want as a dev team. So that makes perfect sense. They also don't want it so that only Warlord can beat 202. Both of those things are bad. Where if he's so strong that you can idle farm the hardest level of the game and you can only one hero can beat the level of the game, those are both really bad from dev perspective. So I get that. The problem is just that they did it right after everyone bought him. Come on, team. I'm happy to consult for you. This is just marketing 101 stuff. Have a product manager in the room that's talking to users and realize that you can't just do that after you can't just lower the quality of the product the next day. It's a play to win game. It's not TFT. It's not League of Legends. It's not something where like the meta matters all that much. And just like gradually reduce it, right? So in a month, drop it by 1%. And if he's still too strong, in a month later, drop it by another %. You guys do releases every week. It's phenomenal. Like the fact that I have to like do this video 1 week after doing my previous video is awesome. I'm happy to be doing this. But the issue is you got to think about long-term player base and like how it's perceived by them. So, do I think this balance adjustment was needed? Yes. Is an 80% nerf to healing too much? Probably. So I could see like, again in TFT is my analogy, like they would hotfix it and maybe bring it up to like 3% middle of the week. But it's just the optics of like having it be the hero everybody bought and then immediately nerfing it like this is just really bad optics. The nice thing about software is that you can just not do it. Just undo it. You can just press Control-Z and literally everybody will be happy. And then over time, make smaller adjustments to make them more balanced. So that's my immediate take on Warlord. After having just gotten him, I put in all of my resources into getting his shards. I still think he's going to be good, right? So I still think, and I'm going to have to see it after the patch if they don't change it, he can probably still clear. I'm hoping that in 2 weeks, when I get 2-star Forge and I get him up to 3-star Warlord, that I'll be able to clear 202 finally. And so I'm still going to try and do that. And I think it's probably doable with these changes. Like if you hit that criteria, you'll be able to clear 202. The problem is in the wider context of the optics. So I hope that make that clear. Okay, so that's the drama. And you can see here on like the forums, that is basically what everybody's saying, right? You just can't spend $110 and then 2 weeks later nerf him. Like that's the problem here. I don't think anyone's disagreeing with the nerf. I just think you can't visually do that. And like they're saying, like you can roll back. This is just a mistake, and there's no harm in rolling it back. Literally zero harm. Be like, okay, we have balancing Warlord on our product roadmap. It's just going to take longer, and we're going to make smaller adjustments on the way down. So that's literally, I finished recording and editing the other video 20 minutes ago. I ate a power bar, and that's my take. Hopefully the dev team does that. The other big change here is the dungeon adjustment. So like coming way down. So there's that drama. This dungeon adjustment is awesome. Like, guys, this is so sweet. The dungeon only lasts 2 minutes instead of 5. Like the biggest complaint from the player base has been that you're adding more events that take time, and this is reducing it dramatically. Like, phenomenal change. Like if I didn't have to like Warlord drama, I would just be ranting about how this is like so player friendly. 2 minutes instead of 5. It's going to get harder after stage 50, and they're going to be monitoring how people only hit level 25. All of these changes sound phenomenal. Like having run a bunch of dungeons since it's been reworked, it's fun, but it is tedious. And then like this is adjusting a major pain point for players that are complaining that they're starting to feel like a chore. So like this is awesome. This is what you've been listening to. Like you obviously listen to players. And this is what we all asked for, and you're doing it. So this dungeon adjustment sounds great. Warlord balancing. We already went into all that. So Storm Griffin Buff. I, yesterday, just did my best pet list. It's on the website if you want to go see it. The video will be out in like a week or two. And Gryphon was very low on that. So this is a much needed buff. Like totally understandable. Again, like players know he's bad. And now he's getting better. So like A+ here. I haven't used Gryphon a ton. I've heard he's really good for helping in nightmare mode for pushing people to pushback, but I haven't used him enough. And I just know that his damage is really low. And so this will obviously up his damage. So again, like good change, good balance change. Druid Adjustments. So Boss Brawl is bringing to light some fun stuff. The Boss Brawl from last week was Shadow Faction, but Druids like still like dominate the top of the charts. Whatever the Druid has, I don't know the hero well enough, does a butt ton of single target damage, and he was just like raking in Boss Brawl. I'm guessing the way that these bug fixes work and the increase to 5e damage is going to deal with however he was doing way too much damage to a single target to bring Druid down in the Boss Brawl rankings. So I know nothing about the Druid. I don't own him. I haven't played with him at all. But I do know, and I have seen in the past, he's good at boss brawl. And I'm guessing this is a nerf to boss brawl, which I will note is like another fantastic addition. Just such a good, better mode now. They fixed the reward system. They fixed the incentives. The game is great. It's so much fun. Although, Bunny, you guys should be trying out Bunny in boss brawl. If you're not doing it, Bunny is a good hero. All right, bug fixes. I'm going to go through these real quick, see if there's anything that changes the meta. Generally, the big meta change, right, is obviously Warlord and Druid, but we'll see if anything's smaller here. Fix Battle Pass pop-up blurring issue when opening from a dungeon. I haven't even noticed that. Fix quest tooltip positioning in hero panel. Quest tooltip positioning. I'm guessing that's at the top of a run where it shows you the tooltips and like which quest you're on. That will like adjust somehow. Fix pets moving before the start of a level. I've noticed that too. There's also some levels like dungeon where you can move around to before the level starts. No, nothing big there. Fixed echo wrong operator for global forge update. That's some dev speak. I'm guessing when you upgraded her forge for her weapon, I think it's an improvement to crit. I think it's a multiplier for crit, which is the first time they've ever had that. It probably was buggy, and so they're trying to fix that. Fun thing about Echo, I was getting the pet assets for the best pets video yesterday, and Echo's name in the dev files is Shadow Phantom, which is like 4 million times better than Echo. Like, oh my god, guys, Shadow Phantom, what a cool name. I would highly recommend changing it to Shadow Phantom if you can. If not, like, just know that that's what they called her internally, and phenomenal name. I also, by accident, kind of spoiled the Adventure Hero 5 hours early because I thought they had named Snake Emperor or something different, so messed that one up. Sorry, guys. But Shadow Phantom is way cooler than Echo. Fixed star rank inconsistency for Werebeast, Bombardier, and Steam Golem. This is the same bug as last time. It's when you star rank them up, something is going wrong, and I think it's too minor to really care about. I think it's like a plus damage type deal, so not huge and not meta changing. Fixed unable to collect battle boss participation chests. Okay, so that was an issue where if you did it twice, you're supposed to get the boss brawl participation chest, and you weren't getting that. The boss brawl rewards are awesome. Those are so generous. The shards for specific heroes, kind of like on a faction basis, like they do with Faction Wars, phenomenal. Like great, and to have one static hero that's actually like decent in Big Game Hunter, who's I think actually also supposed to be pretty good for boss brawl. I don't own him. Like great game design, guys. Fantastic game design. So I will say that the dev team has been for the last 2 months doing everything to the game that I could possibly want them to do, with the slight exception of maybe creating some kind of like PvP mode that's like actual PvP, which is probably super hard. They have done a phenomenal job with like the current set of content. So I've been very happy with them, and this 1 week cadence is really cool. Fixed VIP system not showing bonuses on the first open. Okay. Don't really care about that. Fixed Barbarian wrong operator for crit global stat. So I'm guessing, yeah, that they have some kind of multiple here for crit chance that messed up with him and Echo, and they're fixing it. So I don't know if it's a buff or a... It doesn't say the direction here. Fixed visual bug with talent panel glow effect was incorrect. Okay. Visual bugs are never fun. Visual consistency is nice. Fixed Druid Forge 5B, triggering a chain reaction that wrongly increased damage. I'm pretty sure this is why he was rocking Boss Brawl, would be my thought there. So probably a big nerf to Druid for Boss Brawl. Fixed skin page showing the default skin instead of the selected one. No, that'd be sad if you bought skins. I don't buy skins. All right, and you can share your update. You can share your thoughts on the forum if you want. Update now for faster dungeon runs, better balance, and exciting upcoming events. So St. Patrick's Day event is coming up. I missed that one. Oh, and on the same note, I have a mining event guide that I'm probably going to push back until the last day of the event, unfortunately now, but it's up on the website. So if you check out hvhlounge.com, by tonight, I'll have my guide to the mining event and how to make sure that you can get the weapon for about 3,000 gems. I don't think you can really guarantee the hero, but you can pretty much guarantee the weapon for 3,000 gems. So another event is coming up too for St. Patrick's Day, which should be fun. Whole bunch of Warlord drama. Gave my 2 cents on that. New dungeon's fantastic. General, I think state of the game is better than it was months ago. So like overall, very, very strong. Balance changes. It's just they gotta just like, guys, like hire somebody on marketing to like just think through a little bit what you guys are doing, because the game is a lot of fun and a lot of people play it a lot. You just need to like keep the player base growing and Like, think a little bit before you act around like some of these things. Because again, I don't disagree with the balance changes. It's just the optics that are wrong. All right, I'm Kolz. I'm a high-level HvH player. I think I'm top 500 now based on power score. Hooray for me. I don't know how many players actually play the game, but there's like at least 200,000, so that puts me in like the 0.1%. Please subscribe to the channel if you like the video, and like the video if you liked it. And let me know in the comments if I got the Warlord Balance drama all wrong. And remember, always do your adventures!